So cortisol is actually the girl we thought anxiety was. But do we even know what cortisol is and what it does? I know currently everybody is preparing for the spring and the summer, for the rooftop parties and the bars and the vacations and local travels. And I see y'all out here trying to get your summer body right, trying to slim down. But did you know that cortisol might actually be the reason you're not reaching your goals? Everybody is obsessed with cortisol right now. Cortisol this, cortisol face, cortisol that. And it is important to talk about because it can cause a lot of issues in the body. So I'm not mad. I'm actually glad that people are talking about it more, not so that we can be obsessed with it, but so that we can be aware of the functions of cortisol and how it affects our bodies. So before we get into today's video, hey girl, hey, my name is Sonia Star J. I am a licensed massage and bodywork therapist and wellness enthusiast who has been sharing my health and wellness and success building journey all across the internet. So if you are somebody on a similar journey, be sure to join the community and subscribe to the channel. So April is Stress Awareness Month, which is why I felt like it was important to come and talk about this topic, because cortisol is the stress hormone and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we have to kind of talk about both. High cortisol wreaks havoc on your mental health, and it affects so much of what we currently go through, especially as women. Now, for a very long time, I was trying to lose weight and I could not figure out why it was so hard for me to lose weight. I was going to the gym, I was eating right, I was doing all the hard workouts, and it wasn't until a few years ago when I actually was able to lose 50 pounds through changing my diet and lifestyle by just changing my diet and walking. Lately, I've been adding in some strength training to my workouts, but I truly learned that less is more. And that was because my cortisol levels were too high. Here I am, stressing my body out, doing all these crazy HIIT workouts, and my body was asking me to slow down. And it wasn't until I got to my 30s when I really started to learn about the hormones in our bodies. After being diagnosed with a hormone imbalance, I had to learn to really take things seriously. And so with that, I started to learn about cortisol and its functions, and how actually high cortisol levels can actually cause your muscles to break down. Cortisol causes muscle tissues to break down, and it starts to use it as energy. This then causes you to have slower metabolism, which then makes it harder for you to burn calories. So even if you're like me and were working out, you might not have been losing any weight, just like I wasn't. I was going hard, y'all, and the scale was not moving. And another thing too is that if you have high cortisol levels, you might have high cravings for carbs and sugars. And if you consume a lot of carbs and refined sugars, that also increases your cortisol. Now, carbs are good for you to an extent, but the heavily oiled, dyed, fried, and laid to the sides, the heavy white carbs, all of that is not good for you. Now, another part of this is high cortisol levels actually play a big part in fibroid growth and development. And when you have high cortisol, it causes you to have excess belly fat. When you have that excess fat around your belly, it increases estrogen in your body, and fibroids feed off of that. Again, having high levels of cortisol can also cause a lot of other health issues in the body. There's so many times where I've heard stress is a silent killer, and it truly is. Stress is one of those things that comes up and you don't even realize that's what you're experiencing, because we experience it for so long and for long periods of time that we normalize it. So I've been on this journey of lowering my cortisol levels, and if you are a person like me who is always on the go, always on the move, somebody who never slows down like I do, then this topic is going to be very important for you to educate yourself on so that you can be aware. I wanted to share with y'all the different things that I've been doing to help me lose weight, but also what has been helping me to lower my stress levels. Who in here is a night owl like I am? Please drop it in the comments below so I don't feel like I'm alone. If you ask my husband and my mother-in-law, they will tell you I'm not a morning person. I'm a night owl. I like to be up at night. But then I learned that poor sleep hygiene, that's what it's called. Poor sleep hygiene is actually an indicator of high cortisol levels. Now, when I was younger, I had a very traumatic experience while I was sleeping. So since I was younger, I've always had trouble falling asleep at night and trouble with staying asleep. And now I ain't no doctor, okay? I'm just sharing my personal experience and the research that I'm doing and have done while I've been on this journey, because I'm trying to create my dream life, design my dream life, and my dream woman is not puffy, okay? My dream dream woman does not have high stress levels. She's relaxed. And that's what I'm trying to share with y'all. So anything that I share on here is from my own personal experience and research. Just take the meat and spit out the bones. Well, this is a plant-based channel, so we ain't got no meat over here, but you get the point. Now, because I was a night owl, I also had a really bad morning routine. Now, wait, let me actually be honest. I didn't have a morning routine. I would actually get up, wash my face, get in the shower, brush my teeth, get dressed, and head out the door. I wasn't being present. I was just literally in autopilot, on the go, just moving through my routine. And then when I worked from home, it was even worse. I didn't do none of that. I just got up, brushed my teeth, and sat on my computer and started working. But then I realized that I was experiencing a decline in my mental health. So I started to walk at least 1 mile in the morning. And my coworkers would be like, "You got up and walked a mile this morning?" Yes, I had to. And it literally saved my life. I realized how getting up and walking in the morning made me feel so much better about myself, and how much more productive it made me throughout the day, and how much more energy I had. And then I started looking good. I was slimming down. And then I realized that going for walks helps to decrease cortisol. And that's what it was that my body was holding on to. It wasn't necessarily the weight, it was the stress. And so once I started walking and getting outside in the sunlight, body started to release all of that stress. Another thing too is that me and my husband are on different sleeping patterns. So I had to communicate what I was experiencing and what I needed. I had to train myself to go to sleep earlier. Now he goes to sleep like clockwork. He's up like clockwork. I wish I could be like him. I worked with my holistic practitioner years ago. She told me that I need to start going to sleep at 10. I haven't gotten there yet. And Coach Sasha said that as long as you go to sleep before 12, you should be good. So what I've been learning is that the organs in the body do their thing at certain periods of time. Now, between the hours of 10 or 10:30, your liver starts to detoxify the blood, and it starts to heal. Now, your body cannot heal properly if you are not getting adequate amounts of sleep. For me, being a busybody, work a job, I'm building a business, I'm in these book clubs and group clubs, and I'm doing projects, and I'm trying to do all the things, and there doesn't often seem to be enough time during the day for me to do them. And so I'm like revenge scrolling and revenge working once I get off of work. And that oftentimes leaves me at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning working. I have so many goals that I've set for myself that I'm trying to accomplish. Because I'm a content creator, it's hard for me to put my phone down or close my laptop because I'm constantly scrolling, posting, and coming up with new ideas. And I learned that we are highly affected by the blue light from our screens. I've been trying to put my phone down a few hours before I go to sleep. The blue light from our screens really impacts our production of melatonin. And melatonin is the hormone that you need in order to sleep. So I recently went and got some books so that I can read those at night. When I get in the shower, I put my phone on the charger across the room. I'll turn on some lo-fi or some jazz. We've been listening to nature sounds and binaural beats, EDMR, healing music, anything to try to calm my mind down and to help my mind get ready for bed. Now, y'all know I love talking about journaling, okay? Now, journaling helps me to brain dump so that all of the mental stuff that I have on my mind, I can write it down and brain dump and sleep better for the night. My mind literally goes a million miles a minute. And I know I'm not the only one, okay? Now, when I'm truly having a hard time sleeping, some of the herbs that I will take are damiana, lavender, rose. I have a blend that I use that's called Don't Worry, Be Happy. I take magnesium glycinate or a magnesium recess powder. And if you're interested in trying that out, I'll link it for you. But there are different things that you can help you to wind down at the end of the night. I also do ashwagandha. Now, when I take ashwagandha in the morning and at night, I don't even realize that I'm not having as many thoughts as I'm used to have. Ashwagandha is so good for me, but I know not everybody can use it. But all of these things are really good for helping you to calm your nervous system. In one of our previous videos, we talked about the importance of regulating your nervous system so that you can achieve all of your goals, your health, your wealth, and your success. So back to us talking about journaling, okay? Journaling helps you to reprogram your mind. It helps you to reprogram your nervous system, and it helps you to lower your stress levels. Now, we don't even realize realize how much stress we are holding in our bodies at any given time. We don't realize how much emotions we are holding in our bodies. So what I want y'all to do, okay, is start journaling tonight, okay? Write down everything that you went through throughout this entire day, anything that made you feel negatively, and then write down something that made you feel good. What made you smile? What's something that you are grateful for? I mentioned in a previous video how me and my husband do this. What made you smile today? Because oftentimes we focus so much on the things that didn't make us happy that day, and we find things to complain about, but we don't always think about something that we could be grateful for. And when I realized this, that's what made me create the 90-day gratitude journal. My 90-day gratitude journal helps you to reflect on one thing a day that you can be grateful for. It asks reflective questions to really make you think about your day and something that you have to be happy for. So if you're interested in getting a gratitude journal, I'll be sure to link that below for you as well. Now, for those of us who spend a lot of time sitting, stretching is so important, especially as you age and get older. Now I'm getting regular massages from my husband, but I have to be mindful to stretch throughout the day. Stretch in the morning, stretch at night, because my back be so tight from sitting at work all day. Now I do get up and go for walks around the office. I'll go walking during my lunch break, but we're just not moving as much as we should. I recently started a 30-day Pilates challenge with my friend. I'm actually on day 2. Somebody clap for me. We're doing an at-home mat Pilates class, and I'm really excited about it. It's challenging, but I'm gonna stick with it. And I'm also dancing in the morning too. Now, dancing is a form of therapy that actually helps you to release stuck emotion in the body. Now, the song that I'm dancing to in the morning is actually Tested, Approved, and Trusted by Burna Boy. Now, that song really gets me in my vibe. That's like my summer theme song right now, and that's the song that I dance to in the morning to move my hips and whine. And we're actually going to talk about the benefits of dancing in a later video, because I know I'm a dancing girl. Now, I know years ago it was a trend online for you to go up to a wall and put your legs on the wall to stretch. I just want y'all to know that there is some validity to that. It actually helps to calm your nervous system and assists with your lymphatic system as well. It helps with lymphatic drainage, and with lymphatic drainage, that helps the blood flow throughout your body so that oxygen can get to your organs. And it's really important for you to get the blood flowing to your heart and to your womb and every area of your body, but those are really important. Now, I will say that when I was working from home, it was hard for me to separate work and life. And to be honest, I was always prioritizing work. I was always putting work and their needs in front of mine. When I was a caseworker, I always gave more than I had. I was always pouring from an empty cup. And I realized how that poured over into every area of my life. I was always rushing. I was never on time, like notorious for never being on time. Still to this day, notorious for never being on time. I'm working on it, and I'm realizing, because I'm like addicted to the stress at this point, like addicted to always being in a rush, rushing to get to my next destination, rushing to get this project done, waiting to the last minute to get this done. Addicted to that feeling of rushing, that dopamine rush. That's maybe a topic for another conversation, being addicted to stress. Because another thing I realized too is that this is something that may be common with people who are neurodivergent. And I have been diagnosed with ADHD, but it is something that I'm actively working on. So one thing I realized was that in the mornings when I would wake up, I would feel the stress in my body. I would feel it in my arms. I would feel it in my fingers. Even before I opened my eyes, my mind was racing and my body felt stressed. And I realized that was because of two things. One, because of my alarm clock blaring. Two was because of the noise of my husband coming into the room when he was getting ready for work. Now, again, I'm a person who has experienced a traumatic event while sleeping. And so when I hear sounds in my sleep, it automatically took my mind and my body back to that experience that I had. So what I did to start to overcome this was I changed my alarm clock. Instead of using my phone, I put my phone in another room and I got me a sunlight clock. Now, the sunlight clock has a natural light, not a blue light, and the sound that comes is birds chirping and beautiful music, and the sun that comes up mimics the natural sunlight. And the second thing I did was communicate with my husband about what I was experiencing. So as he's going back and forth to get ready for his work day, he's more quiet now, and he wakes me up gently with love and kisses and cuddles, and he's always done that. But now when he's going in and out of the room to prepare for his work day, he can be more mindful of how loud the door is. And another thing that really helped me too was that he prays for me in the morning. So he prayed over my anxiety and my stress, and just praying to help both of us get ready for the day. And that was so important. That is so important. Now, the third thing that I began to do when I realized that my body was experiencing these cortisol spikes first thing in the morning was that I started to do deep breathing while my eyes were still closed, in the dark. Put one hand over my heart and another hand over my womb, and just started to deep breathe and tell my body that I'm safe. And I actually feel the cortisol leaving my body and the stress dissipating from my body. So the breathing exercise that I do is I breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. And I do that several times until I start feeling my nervous system regulating. Meditation and deep breathing are so important, and I didn't realize the importance of it until I had an experience. And I probably spoke about this before when I was in massage therapy school, and I had a somatic response to getting a massage where I started to get the massage, and it was a guy giving me a massage, and I started crying, and I was crying uncontrollably, and my teacher just kept telling me, like, you need to learn how to relax. Like, if you don't learn how to relax, you are not going to do good in this class. And so it's been an ongoing thing that I've had to teach myself how to do, was to overcome this stress addiction. And then we still working through it, okay? Now, in the mornings, what I do, and again, it makes me feel so good, and I mentioned this earlier, is I go outside in the morning and I get me some sunlight. I just take my feet on outside, barefoot, stand outside for 10-15 minutes in the sunlight and just breathe. And that helps to reset your circadian rhythm, and it helps to regulate your nervous system throughout the day. So it's not an immediate thing, but it does give you energy throughout the day. I'm so much more productive when I start my day with some sunshine and vitamin D. Vitamin D is also a hormone, and 10 to 30 minutes of sunshine and vitamin D on your arms, your face, and your legs gives you the adequate amount of vitamin D if you are experiencing vitamin D deficiency, especially if you are a darker skinned person. But it's important for us to get vitamin D when it's at its highest point. So usually around noon, I'll go for a walk, and that also helps my productivity too, and lowering my cortisol level. And I also want y'all to see that lately, since I've been doing my walks, my face is less puffy than it used to be. If you go back and look at some of my other videos, my face is puffier, and that's something that I battle with when I'm not sleeping well, when I'm not drinking my water, when I'm not doing the things that I know that I need to do to regulate my nervous system and to decrease my stress levels. My face gets puffy, my body is bloated, my mind, I have brain fog. So if you're experiencing any of those things, it might be worth doing some of these techniques to lower your cortisol. Now, another thing with that is staying hydrated. Keeping water on the side of your bed so that you can drink it first thing in the morning, or come downstairs and drink a warm glass of water with lemon water. One, it helps to get your digestive system going, but it also helps to wake you up slowly and calms your nervous system down. And then after that, I'll drink some nettle tea and some dandelion root tea, and that helps to stimulate your liver. And then once you do that, it gets things going, okay? It is so important for us to poop more, and we don't talk about that openly enough, okay? But we're gonna start talking about it. There are some things that we really need to start having conversations about, especially as Black women. We gotta start having these open conversations. Y'all need to start really looking at your bowel movements and talking about your bowel movements. We need to have the conversation about how everybody is obsessed with protein, but we really need to focus on our fiber. This is a conversation for another day. I can keep going on these tangents, but I will not. So all of these tips that I've shared with you today will help you to decrease your cortisol levels, okay? I want y'all to be fine, fit, and healthy this spring, this summer, and for the rest of your lives. And we've been talking about our healthy habits in this last series that we did, our spring reset. We are now moving into our Love Yourself Like a Woman series, and this is a big part of it. Loving yourself like a woman is being mindful of your hormonal health, and we don't talk about this enough as teenagers or as women, and we need to start having these conversations openly. So this is where we're gonna have it at. So it's so important for us to be aware of what cortisol is, how to decrease our stress levels, not only to help you lose weight, but to balance your mood as well, balance your hormones, and also help us to prevent health issues instead of letting them get to a point where they've already happened and we have to reverse them. I wish I would have had somebody telling me these things when I was younger, but now that I've learned them, I have the opportunity to share them with you so that we all can get better together. Thank you for sticking around with me for having this very important conversation. Okay, stick around for the rest of this Love Yourself Like a Woman series. If you have not tuned into our spring reset series, I will link the playlist here for you to check out, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel so that you never miss a video. And because we had this conversation around cortisol today and our healthy habits, I want you to check out this video here where we're talking about how to maintain your healthy habits. I hope you enjoy. Can you keep me safe? Nominee.